Now let's take a short break so I can tell you about an awesome deal at McDonald's. Right now, you can get a crispy or spicy chicken sandwich for just $2 when you order ahead on the app. That's right. You get either one of your favorite chicken sandwiches for just $2. Valid one time per day through June 19th, 2022 at participating McDonald's. Excludes tax. McD app download and registration required.
There's never been a better time to find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Download the BetMGM app and place a $10 moneyline wager on any NBA playoff game. If either team hits a three-pointer in the game, you'll win $200 in free bets, regardless of your wager's outcome. Just use code LIBERTY200 when you make your first bet. Sign up now and discover BetMGM's daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use code LIBERTY200 to win $200 if either team hits a three in any NBA playoff game. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Pennsylvania only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Hollywood Casino Morgantown.
Hey, it's Christine from Storyworthy. Today on the show, comedian Dustin Nickerson talks about how to create a comedy special during a pandemic.
The actual special itself is everything you don't want out of a comedy show. We're outside, no ceiling, we're surrounded by barbed wire, a plane goes over, a guy falls asleep in the show, we're next to a chemical waste lot, and it's a colder LA night, and so the gases start expanding and making these big bang noises that happen throughout the set. It's like 25, 30 people all spread out, all had a COVID test as they walked in, and they're wearing masks. That's all the wrong things.
Today on the show, comedian Dustin Nickerson talks about how to create a comedy special during a pandemic. Stay close.
Hey, my name is Dustin Nickerson, and you're listening to Storyworthy.
Welcome to Storyworthy. My name is Christine Blackburn, and I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Whether you're a longtime fan of the show of over 10 years or you're a new listener, welcome to Storyworthy. I hope you guys had a chance to listen to screenwriter Peter Galkey last week. That guy was so interesting. His story was about 3 brushes with death. And not only were there 3 brushes with death, but they all happened within one weekend. Really cool story. So go back, listen to Peter Galkey, you guys, last week, but not today, because today I have a comedian with me, of course, a comedian, and his name is Dustin Nickerson. And I don't know him well. I'm just kind of getting to know him, although I've been listening to his podcast for a while. So there's that. But this is the first time I'm meeting him, and I'm so excited he's here. He brings forth the topic, creating a comedy special during a pandemic. So obviously, I know you did. I know you created a comedy special because I watched it last night on Amazon Prime. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, there must be so many challenges. I mean, obviously, because you have nothing to draw upon.
No, there's no manual for.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm excited to hear your story, but I got to tell you, I know at least one thing in common.
Okay.
Well, we know a lot of the same people, but also,
of course,
we both have 13-year-old children.
Yes, and are quarantined with them. Right? I mean,
oh no, mine's outside.
Yeah, I mean, I've been locked in with my 13-year-old for 98% of the day since mid-March. So I think mine's in the house. I couldn't tell you confidently. He may be skateboarding. He may be outside somewhere.
Do you have any other children, or just your one boy?
Yes, I have 3 kids. I have a 13-year-old boy, an 11-year-old girl, and a 6-year-old girl.
Wow. Your house is buzzing.
Yeah. Do you just have the 13-year-old?
Yeah, I just have one.
You see how
And
parents of multiple kids were real condescending. Oh, so you just have the
oh,
one?
yeah,
Just
yeah,
the
yeah, just one.
one?
Well, let me dig the hole deeper. She's only with me 4 days a week, and then she
Oh.
goes to her dad's place.
Oh my gosh. Does that even count? I don't know if that's technically a parent at that point.
Exactly, and he only lives a block away, so she pretty much walks over there now. So, man, I am out of the weeds, Dustin, I gotta tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kinda acting like we are too. We aren't out of the weeds, but we sometimes we kinda act like we are as far as like, "Ah, you guys will be fine, right?" Like, there's, the 13-year-old is competent enough.
No, definitely, they're independent, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So, I always say like this to my mom, I remember almost everything from being 13. I don't remember much at all from being 6, but 13, I feel like it's very easy for me to envision that. So I'm like, that means he's responsible, right? I mean, this is terrible logic, but sometimes you just need to get out of the house.
You guys live in San Diego,
We
and
do.
what part of San Diego?
College area, La
Mhm.
Mesa, kind of by SDSU. Do you got some
Yeah,
time down here? You know the area?
sure. Actually, I was just there, like, a month ago. My boyfriend's daughter goes to Mesa.
Oh, yeah, 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 right down here.
Yeah, and she lives in the, she lives in that really nice place. It's the, what's the Mission, of course,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Mission
really
Beach?
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mission Beach, so lovely, and,
I
I love it down there. I love San Diego. Now Coronado, that's I first time I ever went to Coronado. Have you been there?
Of course, yeah.
Of course, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what do you guys go there for? I mean, the beach, is that the thing? I mean, we went to a restaurant and stuff. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
if you
Coronado,
live there, isn't
yeah.
that really touristy?
Yes, but San Diego is really touristy. I mean,
Mhm.
so I'm from Seattle. Seattle is where I'm from, and born and raised, and kind of consider myself a little more of a Seattleite than the San Diegan. Even though we've been here for almost 10 years, but I, that's my only real critique of San Diego is that it's a little on the touristy side everywhere. Now there are like some local spots, but Coronado is to me objectively the best of the beaches, so we do go there.
They're so big. The beaches are big.
They go forever, though they do tend to have more stingrays than the other beaches. So there you
Oh,
go.
really? Interesting.
Insider
No, I
tip.
didn't know that. I love this. This is inside baseball,
Yeah, yeah,
SoCal.
yeah. The further south, usually the warmer the water, the more stingrays. So,
Interesting. Wow, I
yeah.
actually didn't know that. And, did they really use the term Seattleite? Did you make that up?
No, that's a term. Yeah, we use that one.
That's
I
so funny. I've never
I
heard that.
yeah, I've heard that one quite yeah. It's just faster, Who has time to say from Seattle? I mean,
I see. I see. And are you still a Seahawks fan or
very much so, yeah. Seattle is like, I think if you're from there, it is like your identifier. It's
yeah.
because it's a very considering the size of the city, which is not that big of a city.
Is it about 500,000?
Yeah, I think it's like 750 somewhere around
Mhm.
there, but it's
Mhm.
under a million.
Yeah,
But it's so iconic, it's so distinctive, and it's such like a world-changing city. Like for
it
a city
really
of that
is.
size to create the music they've created, the tech they've created, the art that they've created, the culture that they've made
The
to be
salmon that they get.
yeah, the food, exactly. So you really do kind of wear it like a badge of honor,
Oh, that's sweet.
even its annoying parts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really cool. And also the thing about Seattle to me is it opens up the north, like, because as soon as you hit the state of Washington and then you get to Seattle, it's like everything is so green, everything is
Mhm.
so mountainous, and there's so
Right.
much water. Like,
Yes.
it's all of a sudden you are in, like, I don't know, Canada.
Yeah, no, if it was sunny there, everyone would live there because it is so scenically beautiful, but you
Yeah.
you just have to commit to battling seasonal depression. And after 27 years, I was like, I've had my fill. I'm going to the sunshine.
Yeah, I talked to this girl the other day who lives in Sweden, and she was saying how it can be light there, for 22 hours a day or whatever. And she
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
and then it can be dark, so either all light or all dark. And she said that she has a happy light, but she said it like, I don't use my happy light enough. And I'm like, first of all, what's a happy light? But it's basically, recreating daylight because of the depression in the dark.
Yeah, a happy light is so ambiguous that it sounds like something you could get at a Toys R Us or like an adult store. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's my
Yeah,
happy light. That's mom's happy light. Like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
like that's so
Mommy's
weird.
going in the kitchen to use my happy light.
Yeah.
That's super funny. Well, listen, I'm excited to hear your story today, creating a comedy special during a pandemic. I did watch your special last night on Amazon Prime. Like I said,
Thank you.
congratulations. It's really exciting. And
Thank you.
and yeah, I'm anxious to hear how you pulled this together. I've listened to your podcast and I've heard you and your wife talk about some things on your podcast. I mean, regarding the special, but
Mhm.
how does the podcasting together work, the two of you? I mean, you're not always together, but when you do.
No. Yeah, so I for a long time was like, I don't want you in this. Not for my sake, but for her sake.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't want you in this world of public critique and reading reviews and comments and DMs and so on and so forth. And then the pandemic hit and I was like, well, I have to have guests and you're here. And and then everyone was as charmed with her as I am, and I was like, "Of course, you're lovely on this, and you're not a babbling buffoon like I am. Like she's smart enough to not say things that invite critique, and so we really started with a series that we called the Corona Chronicles, which is we just put them out every day right at the start of them. We went to every day for like 3 or 4 weeks because we had nothing else to do, back when
Yeah.
people like not only were we under lockdown, but people took it seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I was at the dentist today listening to my dentist talk about the big family gathering for Christmas that they're going to have. I was like, dude, you're a frontline medical worker. What are you doing?
Is that
Like,
true? Seriously?
yeah, I just
What?
don't think. I think that we have the married couple, our neighbors, married couple. They were telling us how they're both nurses, and both of them are going out of state to go visit their grandkids
What
for.
is happening?
I think people are just done. They're
That
just
is
like, and
too crazy, though,
those are
because
two people in the medical world.
yeah, and it's worse than ever.
I know. It's wild. I'm not endorsing those decisions. I'm just telling them. I'm
Yeah,
just
no, that
relaying
is
it.
shocking, especially a dentist. Well, I'm glad you hopefully won't have to go back for a while.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was
Jesus.
like, well, make sure I get my appointments in before your Christmas in. So,
Oh my
um,
god. Oh my
but it,
god.
but anyways, what I was saying was, we didn't have anything else to do, so we did it, and then we just kind of kept rolling with it, and now we alternate between it being guest driven and then me and my wife, and it's great because I have good rapport with her and her with me, and I also feel like it's it brings out you're so different with your loved ones than you are a guest.
Mhm.
And so I think that it actually does kind of offer something to the pod that wasn't there before, which is a sillier side of me, a different, more relaxed version of me. Because you're away with them that you aren't with anybody else. So
And the name of your show is "Don't Make Me Come Back There," which is so cute and so funny. The logo is a silhouette of a guy with his hand over the rearview mirror, like "Don't make me
yeah.
come back there," like, "Don't make me stop this car." You might have to put like your another figure in the front
I
seat.
know. That's a good point. We do need to update it. We need Melissa in there too.
Oh, that's adorable. All right, you guys. Listen, we're going to get over to Dustin's story in just a second, but I did want to remind you that Story Smash, the storytelling game show, is being played live every Friday night on Facebook. Yes, I've given in to the Facebook. I don't even want money anymore. I just want the masses. So come on every Friday night on Facebook, 7 p.m. Pacific time. We're also on YouTube at the same time, and we are having a blast. You guys, I'm telling you, it's the funniest damn show you'll ever see. So come on over Friday night, 7 p.m. to Christine Blackburn's Facebook. It's public, and enjoy Story Smash. Dustin, you've got to play that game.
I'm in.
Yeah, okay.
Fridays?
I'll book you.
I certainly don't have any other gigs to go to right now. So
Yeah, it has been pretty easy as a producer these last few months. I'll say that. And
Yeah.
if somebody says no, I'm like, what else do you have to do? I just push a little bit,
Yeah. It's been easier to get guests. Yeah. Though I was probably one of your biggest pains as far as scheduling, but that's because I was so in the weeds with this special.
No, you
Because I was
have
like,
to
no,
be, right.
I really want to do this special. I just got to get my head above water.
Yeah, you have to. I get it. And don't forget to come over on December 20th. Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank is now sponsoring my show, The Story Where the Hour of Power. So we're going to hear 5 true stories in 1 hour at Flappers every month. Dustin, you got to do that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's another one.
You guys are streaming them, or how are you guys doing
No,
the shows?
that's Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank. No, it's tickets. It's a $10 ticket thing.
Oh, I know. I know Flappers, but
Yeah.
but it's you guys are doing live shows.
Yeah, that's going to be no, virtual. It's still virtual.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
there we go. That's
it's
what I
all
meant.
still virtual, unfortunately, but we are doing a lot of stuff. So anyway, you guys, all that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, you guys, he's here right now. Dustin Nickerson, you've heard him. He is a comedian, and he has a brand new special on, like I was saying, on Amazon Prime called Overwhelmed, and it is damn funny. And I think we're going to hear about it tonight. You've also seen him over at Comedy Central, Netflix, and Fox. He also has the popular podcast, like I said, Don't Make Me Come Back There. And you can find him on Twitter at Dustin Nickerson. All right, you guys, wherever you are, put your hands together for Dustin Nickerson.
Yay! I love a good virtual intro. I like to just hear the applause. This is thank you again for having me for this. I was really going back and forth on this, but I feel like the story that I have that even though I know most people have not produced or executed a comedy special, we're in a minority in that. But everybody has had to try and pivot and figure out how to do their life and business differently. And that's what the story of my comedy special is. And really the story of what I've been doing content wise in general, as far as producing comedy. So, at the beginning of my story was January 2020. Remember, we all were so full of hope. And we had all these, these dreams in our eyes and these goals and these resolutions and so on and so forth. And mine very much was to make this comedy special. And we had was running the hour. I was feeling really good. I was feeling like, okay, we've got this thing. And we had a big showcase at the Hollywood Improv that was there. I was headlining, and we were there. We were showcasing the buyers. I couldn't believe the people that were committed to coming. Netflix wanted to come to watch. HBO was going to send a rep. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, this is great. It doesn't mean they were going to make it, but it was going to be the opportunity. And that was supposed to happen on April 4th. So we didn't even come close to squeaking it in. And, somewhere around mid-March, the world ended, or at least took a big, pivot to what it is now. And
I know, but we all thought it was going to be done.
Yes.
Like maybe 2 months or something.
Yeah.
Everybody thought we were just pushing the date.
Very much so. I remember being in Cleveland with Taylor Tomlinson, and we were talking, and just like we were there, it was like March 13th, 14th. It was the last road weekend that we did. And her special had just come out on Netflix, and we were just like, oh, okay. I wonder if we might cancel like next weekend or I don't know, maybe they'll just do like limited capacity. Like, it's so funny to think about how novel of an idea it was. None of us had any idea what was coming, right? And by the time that next Wednesday hit, both of us had like our books cleared because things just got pushed. They would for me, it would just happen one at a time. And then, we, at the end of the day, at the end of 2020, lost 80% of my work,
Yeah, that must have been really devastating.
Yeah, it was. And it's, I ended up doing over the summer and into the fall, a big backyard tour to my fans. Like, I just put it up. I was like, hey, who has a backyard? I want to come perform for you. And
that's awesome.
And they would bring me out, and we did like 20, 30 dates, and it was a ton of fun.
Wow.
But I remember each time I was just like, I didn't know that performing indoors was something I had to be grateful for. I didn't know that had to be on my gratitude list.
Yeah. Nobody knew.
Yeah. So I kind of make that pivot, start making more online content, just kind of like feeling a little bit sorry for myself because, as a comedian, you have this hour, and Louis C.K. talks about how it's like has like jokes have like a fruit lifespan to them, where they aren't quite ripe, and then they get real ripe and they're real good, and then they go bad at a certain point where you've told it too much, or you've changed as a person, so you don't really believe in those ideas. And so there is kind of a sweet spot as a comedian where you're like, no, this needs to be recorded sooner than later, especially because the world is changing. Like the way, that, Christine, like the way that we talk about disease, the way that we talk about the medical field, the way that we talk about the police, the way that we talk about politics and racial issues. I mean, if you go from January to today, the whole tone has changed. So I was like, I feel like I need to get this content out. I want to get this out sooner than later, but I had no idea what that would look like.
Yeah. By the way, don't you think that like when you feel it that hard and when you think about it that hard and you think like, I got to get this out, that's going to be a quality product. Do you know what I mean? Like if it keeps you up at night,
yeah,
that's the stuff. That's the gold.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, you're like, I've got this. Yeah, I got to get this thing to the public. I have a thing. I want them. I believe in it. And people in comedy talk a lot about like you forget about jokes, and I go like, I've never forgot about one of my good jokes. If it was good, I wouldn't have forgotten about it. Like if it's important, it stays right here on the frontal lobe.
That's right.
So, what happens, interesting enough, I feel like this special was the culmination of a lot of things that happened in 2020, including some of the things that we talked about right now. So the fan base that I have, based on where I've toured and who I've toured with a little bit over the years, I have a very conservative fan base. And when everything kind of hit in June, with the protests and the Black Lives Matter stuff, I was very outspoken about my support for the Black Lives Matter movement. Like I was doing jokes about it because that's the world that I live in is comedy. Like to me as a comedian, if you're not even attempting to make it funny, we're not really kind of doing what we're supposed to do. But I would make jokes about it. And then when I would offend some of my more conservative fans, I would get in there and I would argue with them and try and do it as the most, I had one comedian friend of mine say, the way that you do it so diplomatically, you're showing your background in middle management, which is true. I was in middle management for years. So, I know how to de-escalate a scenario. And,
awesome.
With the internet, you never know who's watching. And so there's a comedian named Kev on Stage. Kev on Stage, very funny, stand-up comedian, big online presence, had followed me from a while back. And he's Black, and he shared a lot of my stuff. Actually, a few of my closer Black friends started to share a lot of my stuff, and they were texting me about like, this is kind of some of the most important work is white people telling white people about this, So what that reason that's an important part of the story is Kev went on to invite me to do he has a show called the Keep Your Distance Comedy. And it's a virtual show. It's in a parking lot, and it's produced by Transit Media or made by Transit Media. And it's like 10, 15 people in there, but it's streaming out to about 10,000 people. Very fun. And he invited me to be a part of it. And so I go and I do some other projects with him, and I go and do this. I go and do my set. I have a great set. Particularly, Kev and Transit really like the joke that's in the special about what to do with your sign after the Black Lives Matter protest. You don't want to be seen putting it in the trash, but it's not nice enough to put on the wall, So stuff like it. So Transit immediately comes to me and says like, "Hey, we want to be in the Dustin Nickerson business. Like this is what you're doing, we like." And they're mostly African American, Black owned and operated, and they're like, and we kind of need a token white guy, which is pretty funny. And I was like, well, I'm your guy because I'm as white as it gets. So we have the conversation, and I tell them like, listen, there's some things that I'm working on. I'm doing this backyard too, but really what I want to do is I want to produce it. I want to make a comedy special. And, I go, maybe that's down the road. And they go, well, maybe it's right here. And that lot that we produced it is in that parking lot is in the parking lot of Transit Studios in LA. And it came together in like a week. And then Kev goes, I want a part of this. And Kev is the executive producer of it. Kev financially backed half of the thing. And this came from me doing dumb posts on Instagram. They're not dumb about being outspoken on a certain matter, but that's kind of what kept the conversation and the relationships and the bookings coming.
Sure.
And so that's how the genesis of it happened. And then you go, there's a few lessons there, and I feel like I'll get back to that as far as what I'm taking away. The actual special itself is everything you don't want out of a comedy show, right, Christine? Like, yeah, you're a comedy fan.
No lighting, no
Yeah,
soundproofing,
we're
no dark walls or
we're
background,
outside, no
no
ceiling.
ceiling.
We're surrounded by barbed wire. A plane goes over a couple times. A guy falls asleep in the show. We're next to a chemical like waste lot, and it's a colder LA night, and so the gases start expanding and making these big bang noises that happen throughout the set. Yeah, and it's like 25, 30 people all spread out, all had a COVID test as they walked in, and they're wearing masks. Like, that's all the wrong things.
No, I know, because you can't hear their laughter, right? I mean, is that what you mean with the
Exactly.
masks? Yeah.
Yeah. And so we kind of dug into it, and we're like, in some ways, like, this is the perfect special, because that's what this year is like. And it's not a COVID theme special. There's plenty of jokes about the masks and stuff like that. But I had a friend of mine, Irene, too. She's a comedian. She goes, it's not a COVID special, but it is COVID aware, like,
Well,
yeah. So it
be,
feels,
yeah.
I think, kind of fresh to what the year is.
Totally.
But without being like, here's, I put on my COVID-19 pounds. It's not like that. So, but the editing was, as soon as they showed me this, I was like, oh, it's beautiful. They did such a good job. The art looks great on it. It's very unique. But, you take away from, there's a lot of takeaways from this, but one of them is just the, things are so much better when they happen organically like this. Like, this happened through relationships and people. I didn't have to convince people to get behind me. They came to me and wanted to be behind me.
That is such a sign of like you have to do this. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And at the end, I'm not one for like particular resolutions. But the one resolution that I had, like, I don't like to set specific things, because I think when I first started comedy, my goals were like, I want to be on the Tonight Show, or I want to get past at the Comedy Store, or whatever it may be. But I stopped putting those goals down, because I don't think you should ever set goals that are up to somebody else.
My gosh, that's good. That's so good. For things that you can't control.
I can't control if Adam Egget or JP Buck like me. Like, these are the bookers of those things. They may like me, or they may not like me. But I can't set my goals based on somebody else's decision about me. And so only things I can control are like my work ethics, how, what kind of my resolutions are. And like, they're not like, I'm going to check this off. But the one that I had for 2020 was to bet on myself. I was like, I'm going to bet, and we're going to bet on me and my, or really to bet on Dustin Nickerson LLC, which is our little small business that could, CEO me and CFO Melissa Nickerson, and to just bet and invest on ourselves. What we didn't know that was going to be was financially backing our own special with Kev's help, releasing it on our own, owning that, putting it out a pandemic special. And really, I'm not going to badmouth in particular, because I have some friends who are on this list, but a publication that we all read in the comedy world yesterday listed their top specials of 2020. And I just had a laugh, because I was like, there's the 10. I was like, 4 of these guys, this is 10 people made up of like 2.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. And they're all famous. They all have this.
Right.
They're all famous. They all have the same reps, by the way.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it was like these are the best specials that were made by famous people or were given to us by their reps,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so it's not really not saying that I deserve to be on that list, but I'm just saying, well, what we're making is something different. What we're making is for us and owned by us. It's not for us; it's for everyone else, but it's by us and owned by us.
And how did you get to Amazon Prime?
That you put that up yourself. Amazon is you can submit your own things to Amazon. So Amazon takes a cut. Once you put it to for free on Amazon, they take
Hmm. Hmm.
the majority of the money. Somebody asked me
Yeah.
that, like, oh, I can't believe you're charging. One, I give away.
It's $4.99. I
Also,
rented it.
exact.
I didn't buy it.
Oh, I should have sent it to you for free. That's my bad.
Oh, no
That would have
problem.
been the professional thing for me to do.
No, but it's so worth it. No,
Well,
but it's
thank you.
worth it.
Thank you. Well, and also, like, we put out so much free content. Like, I put out free videos, things that I make all the time, all the time.
All the time.
And at free podcasts, like, we put out stuff
Of
all the
course.
time. And also, I'm a stand-up comedian in 2020. Throw me a couple bucks. If like
I'm telling you, right?
it's these things aren't free to make. And
Right.
and eventually it'll be free online. But yeah, so we submit it. And there's like a submission process that you go through there. But that's how it got up on Amazon.
That's wonderful. But, you also have to think to the people like they're not driving their car anywhere. They're not paying a
Right.
two-drink minimum. They're not buying any food.
Yeah.
They're not paying for parking. They're not
Yeah.
valeting. And it's
Yeah.
like, you come on, $10 is nothing.
Also, if it's unless it's on YouTube, which is one way to do it, like Sam Morels was so good. I know you've had Sam
Yeah.
on the pod.
I love him.
He went the free YouTube route, which is great. Like that was the other kind of option we were considering. But you pay for everything other than YouTube. If you watch that on Netflix, you're paying for it.
Yeah, of course, of
You know.
course. Sam is so funny. He came over to my place to do the podcast, and he got here an hour early.
Oh.
So it wasn't like a little bit early, it was a lot early, and I
Yeah.
was sitting in my pajamas watching him on TV, watching his special, like catching up on Netflix, and I pause it and I say and I'm like, "Hello?" And he's like, "Hey, man, it's Sam." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Come on in." And
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, you're early." And he goes, "Oh, I was in the neighborhood."
I'm way early. No, and he didn't
That
send you
dude
like
is
a he didn't send you like a hey, I'm early text. He just came to the door.
No, he just came to the door. So
I
I
love
thought it
it.
was a package. It was very funny. I know. It's like sometimes when the phone rings and you're like, "What? What's that?"
Yeah.
"Oh, somebody's calling you. What is this mysterious phone you speak of?" "Hello?"
That's like the thing I do the least with my phone now is make a phone call. If it rings,
Of course.
I assume something's wrong somewhere.
Yeah. Have you kept up with technology with your children, or have they passed you?
Yeah, both. So we there are certain things that I'm like, hey, can you do this? Like as far as some like tech things, but for the most part, so our kids like don't have smartphones. Our kids are not on social media. Um, it's a real point of tension sometimes with them. But so they have little like the two oldest have things called Gab phones. I don't know if you've seen that. All they can do is text. That's it. Which is and call, which is what phones were forever. That's all our
Yeah.
phones were when we first
Yeah.
got cell phones. So they're not on social media, and but there are certain things where I'm like, hey, can you help me with this with the TV, with the Apple TV or something like that? That that what it is they're just faster at it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can just find the thing quicker than I can. Or if they're like, hey, go put on some music on Spotify.
Yeah.
They cannot stand how slow I am. They're just like everything is so rapid to them.
Just let me do it. Just let me do it. I got it. I got it.
Exactly. That's
Now,
exactly
my
right.
daughter's not on any social media yet either, but she does have some YouTube channels because she's really into
cool.
filmmaking. So she creates and stuff like that. But she wants to be on Instagram really bad. And she's going to turn 14 and we're thinking about it. But it's like, I don't know. But regarding the technology, like I feel like I'm totally up to date with my daughter in terms of like, I use GarageBand, she uses GarageBand or something like that.
Yeah.
But she's now moving on to Final Cut Pro, which I used to know, but it's totally changed. And she's getting an iPhone 11 for Christmas, and I got a 6. What the heck, man? What is happening?
Yeah, that is a point of contention for our kids when I keep getting new tech because they're like, "Well, you get to be on Instagram." I tell them like, "I don't want to be on Instagram.
Yeah,
It's my job to be on
I
Instagram."
know.
And
It's true. It's true.
like
No, I tell my daughter that all the time. She's like, "You're on Facebook." I'm like, "You think I'm having fun over here? I am just posting because it's necessary."
exactly. Yeah, I do these things to serve the other thing, which
Yeah.
is, come see me do stand up and listen to my podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Are you happy to be off the road here for a second?
Yes, I am. I miss performing. I don't miss the road. I've doing because there is some stuff because stuff is open. It's not open here, but there are a lot of clubs and stuff that are still open, and that's a debate for a different time. But like there are, and some are taking them more seriously than others, and I've done some where I've walked in, I was like, oh, this is great, you did this, you plexiglass, everyone, the thing, you did it all right. There is a way to, and you get money, the staff gets money, everyone's okay here. But there's a lot of them we were doing outside. I would say of the shows I've done this year, 90% of them have been outside, including the special.
Mhm.
But there are ones that are just, I've heard that they're more reckless and less safe. But I did a little calculation that I was like, I'm doing in a month what I used to do in a week as far as shows go.
Wow.
So I'm doing maybe 7 sets a month where, yeah, that used to be, yeah, I would do no less than 7 a week,
Yeah.
so
Now, what's the
it,
scene like in San Diego?
San Diego is the best kept secret in comedy as far as sets go. We have 4 clubs, which is
La Jolla,
crazy.
the comedy store.
We have the La Jolla Comedy Store, we have American Comedy Company, we have the Comedy Palace, and then we have Madhouse Comedy Club.
Wow,
And
okay.
then in Escondido, 30 minutes north, we have Grand Comedy Club, which is new. And then we also have a casino room up in Temecula, though I don't know if they're still going. And then a ton of independent shows. Ran Lestat's Comedy Night, which is the longest running independent comedy show in San Diego, every Tuesday for 15 years.
Oh,
We have, yeah, I know,
you
not
must miss
anymore.
that. You miss it.
Oh, they kept my name up on the marquee
Uh-huh.
because the world ended on a Tuesday and we
Yeah.
were supposed to have our show that
Oh,
night and it got canceled and it made me so sad. I had to stop
yeah.
driving by it.
Aw.
Yeah. But I know, and we had Tiger was a great independent show and it got shut down, and or the bar just closed. So
Yeah. Ay,
it's
ay, ay.
so that to say, we're a great scene with a ton of spots, and I hope comedians across the country don't hear that because I like how much stage time I can get here,
I'm
and I'm
gonna
close enough
remember
to
that.
LA.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Sure, you are. You really are. Yeah, I did my game show at the Improv for almost 3 years every month,
yeah,
and then February was the last one. Our March one
yeah.
got canceled. Yeah, it was just really disappointing. Well, obviously, and we don't.
It
Yeah,
is sad.
like you said,
Yeah.
we could go on about that forever because it's. Here's the thing: your comedy special is so time capsuled now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a time capsule. People will look at it in the future and they'll say, "This is what comics had to do," you know?
Yeah, yeah. I hope so. I hope, but the hope was to make that, but also make it timeless enough that you would go back and be like, oh no, there's still material in here
Oh,
about,
there is, of course.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you're right that it is very much a moment in time.
So
Um,
your comedy's all pretty much G-rated, as it were? No, what do you call it? No, it's you're clean. You have clean comedy.
I'm a clean comic. Yeah, it is like Pixar in that sometimes there's jokes in there that the adults get that the kids don't get. And I've gone back and forth with that as far as my desire goes, but I will tell you that there is something really special about when a family watches your stuff together. I don't make comedy for kids. I make comedy for stand up, for adults, but I like parents who love stand up being able to watch that with their kids,
Yeah,
particularly their older kids, like a
yeah.
toddler, or I'm not Blue's Clues. I'm not going to hold their attention.
No, 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 but you're talking about, like, your son and my daughter's
Yeah,
age, like
you could
13.
watch it with your daughter,
Yeah,
and no
absolutely,
one's
yeah.
gonna blush. There's gonna be no,
That's
and
right.
that's when kids like. I've done gigs for teenagers before. I talk about it in the special actually, and
Yeah.
that's bad because they're all together. But a teen with their parent, great crowd member, and
Mhm.
and this is
Yeah.
like this is gonna sound grandiose, But to me, it is important that the next generation likes stand-up comedy. And so the only way they're going to do that is watching it with their friend, because it's not like everything is short right now. TikTok under a minute, Reel under 30 seconds, like it's all punch, 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 punch. And, like YouTubers are like, what YouTubers do is just not stand-up comedy. It's like, boom,
No.
graphic, scene, other stuff going on. It's like a Japanese game show.
It's a form. No, it's a form.
Totally. And stand-up, I'm like, you have to pay attention to this.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why you're in the one dark club with one light focusing on you, and that's it. You got to set it up to make it look good. I mean, that's
exactly it. The difference
tricky.
between us and music is music can be consumed passively. Stand-up cannot be consumed passively.
Right. It's a conversation.
Exactly.
I get it. So do your kids watch your stuff then?
They do. They think I'm much funnier off stage though. Because they're like, because they're like, oh, you're like a riot around the house. I'm like, well, I'm catering to you here. What I'm doing here. I have these adults in this crowd that need to laugh. So my son is getting, as he gets older, he appreciates it more, because stand-up can be pretty nuanced,
Yeah, sure.
But it is, it's, our one of our heroes for multiple reasons, Mark Maron. He talks about stand-up is making a connection a lot with the people, and there's just no connection with the kids. They're like, if it's just the kids, they're like, I don't feel this. But when I'm to the audience, in front of me,
well, and they also don't understand, like, if they've heard you say it before, maybe they think, like,
they also have heard it, or they're like, that's not how that happened. I was like, I have to make it a little funnier.
Oh yeah, I get that all the time. That's not true. It's like, shut
up. Don't fact check me.
Yeah, please. I think it is very important to teach kids comedy, to show them comedy, and I have no problem telling my daughter that's not funny. Do it. Try again. It's not funny.
I do that all the time. Yeah. I tell them like, nah, try harder.
Yeah, if it's not funny, it's not funny. Yeah, think harder. Go to the next step. Then what?
Yeah,
like I'm making them tag stuff.
Yes, I love that. Which, by the way, is what I tell people. One of the best things about working clean is it makes you edit like that. It makes you go like, I want to say this, but what could I say? And that's writing, right? Like you just dig a little deeper and you find a funnier word or a funnier concept, or you don't get to the easiest punchline. You don't have to work clean to do that, but working clean will do that for you.
Yeah. And so now you're writing all new material.
Yeah, working on it. I don't have a stage to do a lot of it. But yeah, working. That's terrifying, right? Because I have not done this before. This is my first hour I've ever put out. So, but it's fun, and it's fun to be really excited about bits again. And not that I still love those bits, and some of them I wrote very close to the time of the special, so I still like those bits. And other ones, I'm like, I'm so glad to never tell that again.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
But I wish I had San Diego and LA to go work out right now, because LA is, I'm in LA once a week when
normal
comedy
times
would happen.
Sure.
Exactly. And so that was my favorite thing. I wish more than anything, I don't miss the road, to go back to earlier. What I miss is that I could go to LA and do 3 spots, and then or that I could come here and just do 2 or 3, and I could work and hash out the ideas. And now I'm just like, I'm doing a lot of like, to my wife, is this something, do you think? And also
filling up your notebooks with just little scribbles.
I know. And then I know they're all over the place. They're just like, they really,
I have it too.
Yeah. I'm looking here.
Don't throw away that Post-it.
Yeah. And like, you just look at this and you're like, this is nothing.
Yeah.
And what I was going to say is, and also the stuff that I am writing, like a couple of weekends ago, I was doing shows in Raleigh, and I have this big chunk that I really like about Trump right now. And it's fairly apolitical, and I feel like it kind of does what I like to do, which is to poke fun at both sides. But I'm like, how long is this bit going to be good for? Cause like, this is topical enough that, are we going to get to February and everyone's like, never mention Trump in any way whatsoever, we
can only hope. That's my goal. I hope so. So you did go out then. You flew. You went to Raleigh.
Yeah, I've done some stuff. Yeah, it's quite a process as far as a COVID test. I do a COVID test before I go. I do a COVID test when I'm there. I do a COVID test when I get home.
Wow.
I'm spread out. I'm masked. I'm hand sanitizer. I'm everything that you can do. And I live with my dad. My dad lives with us at this point. He
That's
pays
nice.
us. He pays us rent. But
That's awesome. How old is he?
He's 69. He's diabetic and 69. So I'm like, we're going to be pretty careful out here. So
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that is so awesome. That's so great for your kids to have that advantage.
Yeah, we like
when
it.
I watched like the Goldbergs and American Housewife and different shows that we watch, the sitcoms, I always think like, it's just me and my girl.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish there was a you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's nice
There's
to have
real
that.
pros and cons to it, and they're definitely. So it would be great if we had more than one bathroom, but hey, living in California ain't cheap. You know that.
No, it certainly isn't. So that's why we can spend a lot of time outside. At least we have that.
Yeah. Have you considered moving? Have you considered the exodus? No, you're here.
Absolutely not. I've been here for 23 years in the same neighborhood.
Okay.
So I'm deep in primarily because there's tennis courts all around me and I play almost every day.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's that. Listen, I'm so happy to meet you, Dustin. This is really fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, you guys, we got to wrap it up. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you follow Dustin over on Twitter at Dustin Nickerson, and then also head over to his website, DustinNickerson.com. And you guys, don't forget to go to StoryworthyPodcast.com to find out everything going on, including who's on Story Smash this week, and also follow Story Smash on Instagram. Lots of photos over there. All right, you guys, one more time on behalf of the very talented Dustin Nickerson, make sure you go watch his special, Overwhelmed, on Amazon Prime. It's $5, guys. It's $5. Overwhelmed. And one more time on behalf of Dustin, thanks so much, friend. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I like the way you say overwhelmed. Whelmed.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why? Whatever.
I love it.
My name is Christine Blackburn saying, make it a story-worthy week.
Thanks for joining us on the Storyworthy Podcast. We'll be back next week with all new stories. Subscribe to Storyworthy on iTunes and visit the Storyworthy website at StoryworthyPodcast.com.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a monster truck driver to deliver pizza.
And the neighbors are going wild. You can hear that engine from a mile away, Fran.
And he's foregoing the driveway and heading right up the lawn and over the azaleas. What a power move.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
With 6-foot tires and a roll cage, this pizza guy can quite literally crush the competition.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
Dad is the smartest guy you know, so give him a gift that's just as smart, like a battery-powered smart doorbell from Google Nest that lets him see what's happening at his door and answer it from anywhere. The Google Nest doorbell is now on special buy for only $129.99 and works on any home. Find the best and smartest gifts for Dad. Feels like Father's Day at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid through June 19, 2022 at participating U.S. stores and online. Limit 5 per customer.